with that Team Liquid Poppy player.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Lorlo of Liquid after the win over Team Dignitas in a very, very clean win. I actually want to ask, was this kind of a plan that was executed by Liquid, or did you just guys come in, go with the flow, and got the win?
Overall, we just mainly worked on our macro play this week, so we just focused on that in general, and then it just escalated and went really well in today's game.
It went very, very well. I got to ask you, you guys seem so confident up here. Piglet and Phoenix, they've had some time already in a season. What has it been like for you to get accustomed with Dardoch and Matt here on the stage? What's that been like?
The first few weeks for me was a bit shaky, but after the weeks went on, I started getting accustomed to the stage really well, so it's been really good.
Has it been easy? Can you kind of rely on Piglet and Phoenix and the rest of the guys whenever there's kind of nerves and jitters?
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely probably one of the best carries in the region, so it's really relevant.
Awesome. Looking at tomorrow's game, it's kind of a dominant team you're going to be playing. Immortals, undefeated. How is Liquid feeling about this matchup, Lorlo?
I'm pretty excited to verse them. Hopefully we can take the first game, end their win streak. But yeah, I'm just looking for a good game. I'm really excited to verse Huni tomorrow too. It's gonna be fun.
All right, man, this has got to feel good on the win. Hopefully you guys can carry that to tomorrow. And right now we're gonna throw it to the analyst desk to break down that game.
Thank you, Riv. I'd like to take a moment to welcome Zyrene to the desk, just in time to help us break down that win by Team Liquid. And, I mean, they're looking to be the hottest team behind Immortals, winning their last 4 games now. I mean, this team completely turned around. Where I want to start with this game has to be in Champion Select. We saw very targeted bans over at Kirei in that Elise and Kindred, and then early prioritization on that Nidalee for Dardoch.
It seems strange because Dardoch had been so good on Graves, even in Challenger to now, that if Graves is up, you think he's going to first pick it. But apparently, you also have to be really, really scared of his Nidalee, because that was the most devastating Nidalee performance we have seen yet this year in North America.
Yeah, I think that Dardoch is a player that plays so many different champions really well. I was talking with him, and he's like, I'm the Rengar one-trick who learned other champions. So he has this great mechanical skill that he can bring to these roles, and I think that the acquisition of him and Matt has really changed the entire face of this team.
In a sense, he's kind of where Kirei needs to get. Kirei, known as the Elise one-trick, still needs to make that transition into playing the more meta champions here in the LCS.
Yeah, and at first glance, I think that the champion select wasn't that great for TL with the bans that they threw out and then the first pick prioritization like Jat was talking about. But they just created this gigantic delta between how good Dardoch is on Nidalee versus Kirei on a champion that he seemed really uncomfortable on, and then they leveraged that.
Now, Azael, I want to now look at the response from Dignitas, because as Irene just mentioned, we kind of saw this weird prioritization from Team Liquid. It looked as though Dignitas was getting a really sweet draft. First rotation, Lulu, Alistair, along with Graves and Lucian. I mean, this is the setup for a really sweet team comp that most any team would be very happy getting on red side, and yet it didn't quite work out with that Trundle being the last pick to fill it out.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the Trundle pick. You know, I really kind of like it a lot more in the support role. You know, he was kind of playing it more like solo queue style. He obviously wanted to go for the lane dominance against Poppy. He built, you know, solo queue style, a very, very long lane phase, right? He goes Titanic Hydra, he was going into Frozen Fist next. And the fact of the matter is, it's like they never got the chance to actually have that 1v1 type thing. And it's like the Poppy was much more low eco, but he was able to get tank items, group, and have all his effectiveness. And this is why I think that Trundle support is fantastic, because if you have that as a Trundle support instead of the Alistar, you can actually have the shred from the ultimate on the Poppy. You can have the max CDR pillar and like get a lot of the utility that Trundle's actually adding from the top lane, and then have perhaps a different top laner who's going to be able to have more impact earlier in the game.
And unless you're playing around your top laner, I agree with that sentiment, because we talk about the team composition, and in theory, if Team Dignitas could have made it to the late game, it would have been great to have an Alistair and a tanky Trundle there to block Nidalee spears and then just blow her up every time she tries to jump in. But they got completely slaughtered in the early game.
Yeah, and you would have had plenty of safety for your double AD carry as well to provide that damage in the late game. But as you mentioned, Team Liquid didn't let them get there to the late game. Only 8:30 into the game, we saw a triple kill, 2 of those kills going over to Dardoch in the bot lane, set up by a pretty sweet TP from Lorlo on that Poppy, being the low econ, but still being effective around the map. We have a replay of that we'll pull up. And this kind of starts that ball rolling for the unstoppable Dardoch.
And this is also too early in the game for a Trundle to be teleporting in. A level 4 Trundle teleporting in isn't going to lead much impact. Apollo gets chunked down very early, and Dardoch is there really early on into the fight. Then he had a few rather slick spears. Apollo messed up his sidestep there. Phoenix collapses a little bit late to lock on a shifter, and now, just now, you're seeing Kirei walking into the back of the fight as Dardoch lands the spear to finish the fight. So they were well ahead of the game. Lorlo said they worked on their macro play throughout the week. Well, that's good work. Because they were way ahead of Dignitas.
And a big transition I'm seeing from Liquid here is Lorlo in the top lane. Like, he was a very high econ top lane player, right? Yeah. He's a Riven player in solo queue, and he seemed really uncomfortable when they had him on Gnar and Shen near the start of the season. But when they picked up Dardoch, it seems like he has a guy that he feels really comfortable giving gold to. So he's okay with being a low econ top laner now, and I think that transition for him is really great to see, and I think that this is going to be a great kind of like bromance, like that top lane jungle, right?
The two new guys.
Yeah, the two new guys.
I would also say I think Poppy is going to fit someone's playstyle who likes to play Riven and, you know, these kind of aggressive champions, because even if you are low econ, you can actually go super aggressive. You know, we saw in that TP play, he comes in, you can get flash body slams against the wall. You can do a lot of aggressive, like kind of fancy type plays that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do on some of these other champions, which are more tank, because Poppy can be low econ, build tank, and still have huge damage impact.
Yeah, it felt like he very much enabled the rest of the team in that low econ style, being able to provide the TP and the utility of the wall stuns to pick up those kills early, let people like Dardoch and Piglet then rack up the kills. Piglet and Caitlyn, something we haven't touched on too much, but you know, we've seen now a couple instances of where Caitlyn, especially in teams that get ahead, her sieging potential and the safety that she then allows you to push to close out the game has been pretty astronomical. And I think probably a large contributor to the fact that games can end as early as they do if you do secure that early lead.
Yeah, Piglet is now 11, 1, and 27 on this 3 Caitlyn games, if I'm doing my math properly. He's playing very safe, continuing to dominate the lane phase, and things are looking way up for Team Liquid, which is crazy after their 0-3 start and then being down 11 kills to 0 against Echo Fox's sub-squad.
Right.
I'd also say even in the games where TL as a team didn't look so good, Piglet was actually looking great. And I mean, you know, you're talking about like how much he's contributing. He doesn't actually have a ton of kills in these games, but he's putting out high amounts of damage. He's playing very safe. And even though he may have more assists and kills and stuff, it's like, it doesn't really matter. He's taking out turrets, he's rotating well, and he's team fighting extremely well. So Piglet has been like, you know, a really big linchpin for TL for me this season.
And he's not tilting.
And he's not tilting. Staying relevant, doing what he needs to do. Team Liquid 4-0 after their 0-3 start, doing quite well. Stick around for our next game as Cloud9 tries to take a slice of second place against Renegades. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're like, oh, you know how people talk about just having like talent and stuff like that?
Hard work beats talent, but what if you have both?
Yeah, and what if you have both?
What the hell? When did I say that?
You said it at the end of your feature.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Somehow the snipe comes through and picks up a kill. Magical Journey away. They stun up Shifter. Wow, 2 kills for Team Liquid. Make that 3. 2 javelins for Dardoch. A dash away. There's going to be another stun coming through. Kiwi trying to stay alive, but Lorlo is way too tanky. A double kill, and now a 3rd kill. A 4th as they knock down Kiwi Kid.
I want to assist them. Or kill, dude. Either's fine. Working on. Thanks, babe.
Shifter and Kira going to be so easily picked off now as well. There's the leap, there's the kill. Dardoch wants Billy Boss. Wow, just crushes everybody. No chance. Team Liquid crushed it.